Hello, I'm Rachel and this is Ladybird Book Club. This is my first Wednesday video, and what better way for me to start a midweek slot than to talk about Stormlight Archive. So last year in December, Sanderson released the 5th book in the Stormlight Archive, which is an epic fantasy series, and I read book 5 in December. I really enjoyed it. I still don't think I've fully processed it. Cathy has nearly finished it as I'm recording this, and while I was reading it, I was recording some of my reactions and thoughts and feelings, and then when I sat down to edit that into a video, I had over 2.5 hours footage, which is too much. That's too much. You don't want to watch that. So instead I've cherry picked out every time that I talked about Gavinor Kholin, and I think that it should make quite an interesting watch. This video will contain spoilers for the whole book, of course. And I've chosen to talk about Gavinor because I think that other characters that I would love to talk about and that I talked about a lot in my ramblings, Cathy and I are going to talk about in greater detail when we sit down and have actual discussions about Wind and Truth. But if you want to watch me spiral into madness, despair, I don't know, yeah, just sit tight, hold on. Without further ado, here is Rachel Reed's Wind and Truth, Book 5 of the Stormlight Archive, Gavinor Kholin edition. Baby Gav, oh, he's so cute. And he talked about how, I'm gonna read a direct quote because I won't do it justice from my memory. So Wendell's talking about Spren. He says, I have a mother who is a dear and kind soul who spends her time gardening shoes. And then Baby Gav goes, my mother gave me to the Voidbringers to be tormented and killed. Oh, this poor little guy. He's been through so much. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy! So I still haven't finished day 2, but people have just got plunged into the spiritual realm. Dalinar and Navani, obviously. I'm assuming that Shallan, Renarin, Mraize and Eotil are in there as well, because they weren't in the room when Hoyd looked into Shadesmar. And do you know who else is in there, guys? Baby Gav! Has he not been through enough? Has he not been through enough? Now he has to be thrown into this horrible place where he might never return. And will they even know that he's in there? Although, you know, maybe he'll enjoy going on an adventure with his granddad and grandma. Let's look for the positives. Anyway, I really want to keep reading, but also I need some time away because this has made me very, very stressed. But my thoughts mainly are a big of terror and panic about all of my beloved characters being ripped into the spiritual realm with no tether to the physical realm. Like, that's not good, especially when one of them is Baby Gav, who is the most precious baby boy in the world. And I live in now constant fear, having looked at the POV characters for day 3 and seeing none of the spiritual realm gang there. It's just Adolin, Kaladin and Sveth. And I mean, obviously I'm very happy with that because I love Adolin and I love Kaladin, and I'm interested to know more about Sveth and his past, but I would much rather know the fate of the already traumatized 5-year-old. Despite me being left in suspense about what is happening to the little Gavinor, I have finished day 4 and we revisited our friends in the spiritual realm, except for a little Gavinor, which fills me with unease. Where is he? Is he okay? Are they going to find him and save him? Navani has a connection to somebody in the spiritual realm who isn't Dalinar, and part of me wonders if it is little Gavinor or if it is the cognitive shadow, is that what they're called? Or just like the remnants of Gavilar's soul still hanging about. I think Gavilar is probably the most likely for it to be because he has had such a heavy influence over this narrative despite being dead from the very beginning. And I think it would be very cathartic for Navani to be able to have that conversation with him about his missteps and their relationship and her missteps and all that kind of stuff. I think it could also possibly be Elokar, because he had a little something when he died. He was one step away from saying the first ideal, so there's some investiture in him. And I feel like, if I remember correctly, if you die while invested, your soul can stay in the spiritual realm for a little bit. I think that's why I'm a bit... Could it be Gavinor? Could he have been there for so long? Or does time even exist in the spiritual realm? Who knows? These are the questions that I'm asking. It could be Raboniel. She was one of the few and was obviously full of investiture. I would love that, but I don't think that will happen, unfortunately. Gavinor and Navani have now found little Gav, and I'm beyond delighted. I love him. He's on the page. It's great. Last but not least, Kaladin and Seth have... I'm too distracted by little Gav. I'm interrupting my own reading to mention the fact that Gavinor is hearing Elokar's voice in his dreams. And I know that Elokar was a terrible guy, but he was my terrible guy. And I would be really excited to see him on the page again, even if it's just in a echo of his soul in the spiritual realm. Dalinar. Well, it's not Dalinor's fault. Odium has changed the visions that they're seeing in the spiritual realm. So now Baby Gav has seen Dalinar in Way of Kings when he comes into the room and beats up Elokar. And I feel like when I first read that in the book, Way of Kings, the first time that I read it, I was like, how funny. But it's really not, is it? It's not funny at all. And then Dalinar was also put in the room where Evie was burned to death, and Gav was in there. Dalinar stopped it happening exactly as it did before, but it was still a bad time. And I just don't know. I don't know what's going to happen between their relationship, if both of them even survive. Now that we're in day 9, I mean a little bit in the past few ones as well, it's going to be very chaotic. But first and foremost, when it comes to these books, as much as I love Adeline and he's my favourite character, oh, I said it. First and foremost, when it comes to these books, I'm a Navani Kholin stan. I love her so much, and I do not want to have to read her experiencing Elokar's death in person. I don't want to experience Elokar's death again from the perspective of a grieving mother. But I'm so happy that she's going to find little Gav. And I just want to say, Gavinor Kholin, I am so glad that you're dead. I'm so glad. I hate this lasting influence that you've had on my body. Also, we had a Raboniel mention, and it wasn't in the way that I wanted. And I got a pencil and I drew little hearts around her name where it was in the text. But hey, I just love Navani, okay? And that needed to be said. Anyway, back to reading. Here's the thing though, like, everybody else in the spiritual realm could die. I would be sad, but I actually wouldn't care that much because little Gav is out. And he's gonna be okay. Navani has saved Gav. I thought that was really... She's just wonderful. It was so brave of her to go into the vision of Elokar being murdered to save that little boy. And she, in that, thought about the fact of life versus death, and the fact that little Gav is alive, and Elokar, as much as she loves him and holds to the memory of him, he is dead. There's nothing she could do for him. And I just thought that was really cool. Like that little bit about life before death that she had. I really liked it. The fact that she recognized the life that she had in her arms. You have all heard me endlessly go on about baby Gav. So I think you can imagine how I'm feeling right now, and it's not good. It's not good. I don't want to keep reading the book. Why is this happening to this sweet little baby boy? Much like I am Navani is going to be absolutely heartbroken. And what does Dalinor even do in this situation? He can't kill his own grandson. That's ludicrous. I don't want to keep reading the book. I don't want to know what happens next. And I suppose if I stop reading the book, then that means that Kaladin won't die, and Adolin won't die, if they're going to die, because I just why would this happen? Why is this the choice that was made? Was this always going to happen? Why would you bring this sweet baby boy into our lives and then do this to him? I know that he's a fictional character, but he's a baby, and I thought he would be in the second half. It's like one of the main good guys, but at the moment that no longer looks like a possibility. So I kept reading, and boy am I glad I did, because Adolin, oh, my beautiful boy, he's just the best. He's got, not only has he brought Maya back to life, but he's also he has armor spread. They call him Sir. Oh. This is the best day ever. I mean, it's not, because obviously baby Gav is no longer baby Gav, and it's very traumatized, and is even gonna get I don't know, but this is a light in the darkness, and I'm so grateful that Adolin is alive. He makes everybody feel better, including me. I have made no secret of how much I adore little Gav and want him to be safe and well, and based on that information, I'm sure you can imagine the kind of hell that I am in right now. Why would Brandon do this? Why would you take such a sweet little boy and put him through all this trauma? Do you know what? The champion was Elokar, and I thought, this is not the Elokar content that I wished for. They were in the spiritual realm, and I thought, oh, they're gonna like have a chance to connect with Elokar, have a father-son chat, have a uncle-nephew chat, have a mother-son chat, and that didn't happen. And instead we got Dalinor beating Elokar up, and then Odium Elokar being creepy. How did Wit not notice? How did the sibling not notice? Navani has been back for more than 1 hour. She's been back for at least 10 hours, right? Surely edge dancers would immediately have come to check on Navani and Gav. Surely Lift would be with Gav. She was with him at the beginning of the book. Why would you have that relationship and then not have Lift with him? Unless Lift is going to work some super special edge dancer magic, because Lift is super special and does things differently, and she's going to rewind time, and then little Gav will be little Gav again. That seems unlikely, but everything is bad everywhere. I'm not going to lie, I don't want another Navani POV in the rest of the book based on the events that I have read most recently. I'm beyond fuming about this. How has nobody noticed? There are enough people close to little Gav to realise that he's a blob. I'm fuming. And the Stormfather, I swear the Stormfather told Dalinor in the vision that Navani got little Gav out. I'm so upset. I'm just really upset. Dalinor is about to go and save little Gav from whatever is happening on top of the tower, and one last thing before he dies. And I'm still not buying the Gavinor thing. No, how did nobody notice? The Stormfather said to Dalinor before Dalinor left the spiritual realm that Navani and Gav had left. But the Stormfather was a piece of honor. I just hate it. Although I suppose if Dalinor does save Gavinor on the roof, then he can just be rehabilitated as a 25-year-old man instead. And then we'll just have another cool man in the mix. I still have such big issues with Gavinor being Odium's champion. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense, and everyone is really sad, and I'm really sad. I just don't. Taravangian in his little idyllic Corbranth copy that he's made in the spiritual realm. Ugh, I hate that guy. I don't know if Cathy's gonna like this book. I don't know if I liked this book. Obviously I did like it overall. Oh, we saw Ulam at the end. That was cool. How? I don't know. I don't know. Is Navani gonna age in her bubble, or is she like frozen in time? Gavinor's alive. I guess that's positive. Yay. But Kaladin, therapist Kaladin doesn't exist anymore, so who's gonna help him? Ugh. That's it. If you want to share your thoughts about what was happening with Gav through the novel, leave them down below. I would love to yell with you about it, because I feel very strongly that I didn't like it, and I'm getting worked up just thinking about it right now. We release videos every Wednesday and Friday, so I'll see you very shortly. Bye. When will your fave ever be as good as Navani Kholin? Never, unless your fave is also Navani Kholin, in which case, hi, welcome to the club. Does anybody know anything about baking to transfer into the past and tell me why my gingerbread mixture is dry? That would be very helpful.